Hello everyone. Today we are going to show you how to enable the Google Publisher Console, which is a very amazing inspector tool to examine your ads when you use DFP, now called Google Ad Manager. And this video is going to break into two parts. The first part is how to enable this console tool on your browser. And the second part, which is my favorite part actually, is to do a bit of case study. I'm going to demonstrate how to use this console when we examine the ads on the New York Times. All right. Well, there was a bit of a stop. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to show you this Google document page. And originally when I want to show this page is because I want to give Google the credits. They create this console tool, have no doubt, and not me. However, if you only copy this JavaScript and do what it says, you are going to get nowhere. Let me show you. Okay. The right way is to add a new bookmark in your bookmark manager, and then the fast way is to just copy that code in the URL, like what I'm doing right now. And for the name, actually you can put any name you want because this is your bookmark on your very own computer. But since we are doing this video as a tutorial, I want to make it clear that we are discussing about the Google Publisher Console. Alright, so I'm using that JavaScript that I copied directly from Google, right? Okay. But I could not save this URL because there is something wrong with it. It's not a legitimate URL as recognized by your Chrome browser. Okay, the correct way is to add a JavaScript comma in front of this script. Okay, like this. You want to make very clear, you want to declare to your bookmark that this is a bit of JavaScript code. And now you can save it. Alright, so for those of you who work at Google, please change this. Alright, so now we finish our very first step. I have this bookmark on my menu bar. The reason I put a menu bar is because it's my personal thing. I use this console very often. So putting here allow me to check any website without too much trouble finding it. Now I open this New York Times webpage, and for those of you who work at New York Times, I want to apologize that, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with your DFP setting or your ad unit placements. The reason I use this because I love you guys. I read New York Times pretty much every day or every one time the other day. So okay, to wake up this console tool is very easy. Just click on this bookmark that you just saved, and all the information will pop up. And so for those of you who use AD block or other kind of antivirus stuff, or to block the JavaScript, please mute it. Otherwise, you won't see this pop up. Okay. Now you got two pieces of information, one on this overlay, the other on this AD slot. Okay, let's go with the first part. The first information you're going to get is the dynamic allocation, which signifies the type of this line item, which deliver into this AD unit. And the reason we are getting dynamic allocation is because these ads come from the AdX level, AdX line item level to be exact, or AdSense line item level, line item type to be exact. And you might ask if this line item type was delivered by other types of line item, such as standard, sponsorship, network, you name it, it's going to show differently. Of course, the name will be direct sold. So you got two type of information. One, if this is from your AdSense or AdX, you will show dynamic allocation. If it is from standard or other kind of line item, you will show direct sold. So this is very useful information because sometimes you have a lot of guarantee and non-guarantee type of line item competing for these AD units. This show off the first information and you can investigate further based on this information. And the same with the other informations. It shows off, okay, for example, the DFP ID. And this is very interesting because usually this line ID you'll be very familiar with it if you are the controller of your DFP. But sometimes if you get the other line item targeting your ID units, other DFP line items, you are going to discover right here. So that would be very fun if this is from Los Angeles Times, DFP ID, for example. Not in this case, I reckon. Okay, the other two informations I think is very useful is the line item ID and creative ID. The reason you want to identify the line item ID is because when we are doing dynamic allocations, there will be sometimes tons of line items targeting these ID units, and as a controller, you don't know which one line item is actually winning this bet. So you can type this line item ID and you can go back to your DFP, and there is a search bar on top of it of your screen, and you can check. You can find out the name of the line item ID by typing or by copying paste this ID number. Okay, and as for the information on the creative, that one is very useful as well because oftentimes you have multiple creative listed under one line item. So this allows you to see, for example, if this creative is currently have is not good, this creative has some troubles showing off properly, you can use this this ID number to identify and investigate it as well. Okay, so that closes out the first part of this console information. The second part is the AD slot information, where you can locate the name of the AD unit and the slot size which you defined when you are setting up these AD units. As you can see, the New York Times, the controller, they are very smart. They use multiple sizes to recognize these AD units. So when they have direct sold line items or they have AD network type line items, there are all kinds of sizes at offer, which will maximize their revenue, especially the non-guarantee inventory. They can monetize extremely well based on this strategy. And if you are the controller of New York Times, you find anything that you want to further investigate, just open this in delivered tools. This will take you to the DFP page. Now, because I have no access to the New York Times DFP, I don't work for New York Times, so I won't be able to check. So when I click this tool, it will take me nowhere. But if you are, and this is a very speedy way, extremely fast to take you to the page that you can investigate. If you are familiar with DFP, there is a troubleshooting tool, and this would take you directly to a troubleshooting tool where you can find are the competing line items and the reason why this ad is not showing well, this line item is not doing well, or these AD units. Like how many other ads sources been targeting these ad units, that sort of information. The final part of this video is the page request information that you can see on the console tool. And this is just, I want to browsing through very quickly, but because we are not the engineer, uh, also nowadays the marketers has to be like part of the engineer job. But however, this give you a very quick overview of how fast your ads being showing off. And allow me to remind this unit is milliseconds, which means the thousandth seconds, which 1,000 milliseconds equals 1 second. So as you can see, the fetching speed is pretty fast. This is actually hardly to the human senses. Like 45 milliseconds. All those things are at work. Fetching the ads, the request for ads. So barely after 1 second, you can see those ad slots were being fulfilled by the targets. And actually, I'm seeing some very interesting information because I can see the New York Times, the controller of New York Times, they are pretty smart because I think they actually create some targeting attributes for users in my market. So see setting target attributes, blah blah blah, for value in Taiwan for service publisher ads. So I believe the controller is being very thoughtful because this is very good for the advertisers, being which means these ads being specifically target users like me, um, of the same geographic location. So good job, people at New York Times. Okay, so I think that concludes today's tutorial. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I hope you can practice more because you can check any website, any maybe the website you are currently at work or the other website that interests you, and you can use this console tool to check whether they are using DFP or all informations on their DFP edit unit and line items and so forth. So I will see you at next episode of this tutorial series and have a great day.